give, please. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. So actually, finance is when we study how people, companies, and governments, okay, they do three functions with money. First, raising the money. Second, allocating the money. And third, managing the money. Raising money, that is similar like what you just mentioned. Raising the money is how they how they get the money, okay? How they get money, okay? And then after getting money, how we invest money, how we allocate our just raised money, right? And then after having some benefit, some revenue, what can we do with the earning? So these are the three main functions, three main questions. Okay? We normally deal with the finance. Okay? Finance is how we deal with money with the three decisions: raising the money, allocating the money, and managing the money. And each CFO is a person working in financial sector. You will go through the three big questions. Okay. First, where do we get the cash? Remember, it's the raising the money. Okay. Where do we get the cash? It's either financing decision, and I will tell you later some sources that the firms can raise the cash, okay, or raise the fund. Okay. And after getting the cash here, what should we do with it to bring the benefit to the company, okay, to maximize the profit of the company? It's what we call investment decision. And after investment, surely we have some benefit, right? We have some, surely we face some risk, and then we also got some return, right? Okay. Let's see what we say, risk measurement and payout decision. So the other three main questions we normally face if we are a finance person, if we are working in finance sector, or we study the applied finance. These are the key and crucial question we go through all subjects of the finance. Where do we get the cash? How can we raise the money? What should we do with the money? Or how we invest the money? And then after investing, after getting the return, after getting the profit, how can we deal with the retained earning? How can we deal with the income? And we go to the first question. Where do we get the cash? Okay. Financing decision. How did you pay for your last big purchase? For your last big purchase, for example, the PS5, right? The PS5 or tablet, right? Or the new Samsung, right? New mobile phone, right? Or new pair of shoes. Right? So maybe you got this money from your parents, or you worked a part-time job during your summer holiday, okay? And you got the money, or you borrow a little bit from your friend. Okay? This is how you raise the cash, right? How you get the cash, okay, to buy okay, to make the big purchase, right? This is in your daily lives. Okay? This is the answer for the question: where do we get the cash? Okay, in the normal life. But if we step up a little bit to the position of a firm, okay? Okay, how can firm get the cash? Okay, or raise the fund? Okay, so we get the cash or we raise the fund to buy the PS5, to buy the get the Chanel wallet, okay, to buy a new pair of shoes. Okay, uh, but for the firm, how can they raise the fund? Okay? How can they get the cash? Okay, so for the firm, not only the cash, but this something called fund, okay? Because the money the firm use not only under the cash, but maybe under other form. Okay? And we have the three approaches or three main sources of funds or main source of cash the firms normally raise. The first one is equity. You may heard something about the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange, right? Okay, this is the HOSE, right? Okay, this is about the equity market. Equity market means that the firm they issue more share to the market. Okay, okay, and then receive the money back. Okay, so you see, it means that the selling piece of the ownership to the market and receive the monies. Okay, you see how they raise the cash flow. And second, remember, maybe you when you want to buy a new pair of shoes, you may borrow your parent a little bit, your close friend a little bit, right? This is what we call debt, right? And the firm is totally the same. You can borrow the money. This is called debt. And then the last one is the internal fund. Maybe last year the firm uh, raised the fund, invest, they invest, and then they get some return, right? They get some benefit, right? They get some net income, right? And they can reuse this money, okay? They use this money, and this is what we call internal fund. So from the three main resources of the cash or the fund, you can divide by them into two parts. The first part, including the first two approaches, equity and debt, is what we call external financing or external fund. Okay? Either issuing new shares or borrowing money. Okay? And the other one is using the internal finance, okay? Like reuse the income you generate last year. Okay, so these are the three ways that the firm raise the fund or get the cash. Okay? It is similar like we answered the question, how can we normally get the money, okay, to pay for the new pair of shoes, for a new tablet, for a new mobile phone, okay, for a new laptop, okay? This is the idea of the first question. And after knowing the three sources of the cash or the fund, now I have a question for you. Okay. And please, the organizer, can you please yeah, distribute the microphone to the student to answer the question? Can you guess what is the cheapest source of the cash for firms among the three which I've mentioned so far? Equity, debt, or internal fund? Can you get which one is the cheapest source, right? And why? Thank you. Is there any answer for that? Okay, so Joe has an answer is the internal fund. So Joe, could you please turn on turn on the microphone or type why you think that the internal fund is the cheapest one? You please.
Uh, Thank you, sir. I think
Mm.
it's because when we use internal fund, we don't have to pay high interest, just like debt or equity, because it's the source from inside the company, not the outside. And maybe they will facilitate their internal fund for the other side of the company to support each other rather than take advantages of the situation to create a profit.
Thank you, Joe. Your answer is totally correct. And yep, because you attend this event online, so maybe no need. Yeah. But it's the correct answer. So essentially speaking, the internal fund is cheapest, okay, source of fund, okay, compared to equity and debt. Because for equity and debt, you need to pay dividend, you need to pay the interest rate every year, or we call annually. Okay? But for internal fund, we just reduce the income, okay? We use our own source, okay? So therefore, firm normally prioritize using the internal fund first, okay, compared to other two sources of cash. Okay, this is the answer. Internal fund is the cheapest source of cash. Now, another question, and also some gifts for the question as well. I have three questions for you regarding the three sources of cash or fund that a firm raise. Okay? The three questions. Okay? First, which source dilutes ownership? Second, which one demands interest payments? And third, which depends on last year's profit. Okay? To quickly just answer this one, I think you already know the information. Right? We have three types of the shorts for fun, okay? And each short associated with one question here. Yeah, any answer for all the three questions, please? Yeah. Check all okay the three questions with the three sources of the fund of cash. We have three sources of cash for firm. First is equity. Second is debt. And third is internal fund. Okay, I see some answer from the chat box here. Okay, they're from the chat box. Okay, so yeah, students say that. Okay, so we have the equity, debt, and internal profit. So it means that the short the least ownership is equity. Correct. Okay. Which one demands interest payment is the debt, right? Because you need to pay the interest rate every year, right? Okay, or annually, or quarterly, or depends on the agreement between the lender and borrower. And then which depends on last year profit. Surely it's either internal fund is active mentioned. Okay, equity, right? It's equity, right? Because remember, equity is when we sell or we issue the share to the market, right? It means that we sell a pieces of our ownership, right? It means that we are diluting our ownership. Right? Okay, so therefore it's the equity, right? And debt, okay, debt is if you borrow the money from a bank, you need to pay the interest rate. Okay, so similar like the debt that the firm raised. Okay, they need to pay the interest rate. Okay, okay, interest payment debt. Okay, and last one, surely you reduce the money from your income you just generated from last year. So therefore, you see the internal fund. Okay, so all the equity, debts, internal fund would be explored or being taught from the class stock analysis and business valuation in applied finance. Okay? We will go further, okay, with that. Okay? Now, after finishing the first question of the finance, okay, we go to the second question. If you suddenly got some free money, okay, okay, like you got some scholarship or you got some money from your own business, right? Okay, what would you invest in? Okay, or in your family, How did your parents normally invest? Maybe you may answer that. Okay. Maybe in your family, uh, you may invest in stock or bond or real estate. Okay. If you have a like 5 billion Vietnam dong or 2 billion Vietnam dong, you can buy a real estate, right? Or you can invest in the stock market, in Vietnamese stock market or US stock market or whatever, or bond, or the very high recently is the cryptocurrency, right? Like Bitcoin or ETF, right? And when we have something like geopolitical risk, like the wars or the armed conflict all over the world, we need to find a safe haven, a safe go for it. Okay? So if you have a money or your family have money, you may think of investing in this part, right? Okay. Actually, yeah, like Joe just mentioned, okay, banking deposit, okay, very good, okay, because the bank deposit is safe, okay, it considered as the one of the safest approach, and it also bring the good income for you around 4.8 to 5.5% per year deposit annually, okay. So you have a lot of approaches to allocate your money, okay, and your family. However, if you step up to the position of the firm, okay, so after the firm raising the money from the external fund and internal fund, external fund including equity market and bond market. Now, after having money, what should the firm do with this? And this is what we call investment decision. Investment decision. And now this is the definition of the investment decision. A firm can build, buy, or simply park its cash. Okay, okay. They try to invest. Okay, to find the proper objective to invest. Okay, either build a factory or build a new warehouse. Okay, to expand the production capacity, or to do something like M&A. M&A is like, in simplified word, it's buying a firm. Okay, to access a new markets of technology or for the economic synergy. You will study the MA further in the stock analysis and business valuation later. Or park the money in TBU. I mean, like we normally deposit money to the bank. So these are the three simplified approaches for the firm. Okay, if they have the money, and they are their investment decision in general. Surely they have a more approaches than that. Okay, but they are the main three approaches. Now, after knowing the three main approaches of the firms, now we go to a question. And could you please answer the question? And then we will have some gift for you. Okay. Yeah. Can you guess the name of these brands? Okay, I think they are very familiar brand with you guys. Yeah, could you please answer the name of all the brand, please? I think you can guess at least three. Yeah, 3/5. Yeah, I think at least. Yeah, I can't hear. Yeah, I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Now,
So on the board, we have Instagram, Google, YouTube, Microsoft, and LinkedIn.
okay. Thank you so much. And one gift for the student, please. Thank you so much. And the last one, can you guess the name? Can you get the game? So can you guess the name of this one of this brand? Can you guess the name of this one? Yeah,
It's Meta, right?
exactly. It's Meta. Exactly. Meta. Okay. So you can guess the name of this brand. Okay. And now we go to another level. We step to another level. So they are the cost of the M&A. Okay, M&A is the buying a firm, an investment decision of firm. So now we go through some famous M&A okay cases recently. Okay, and we have an acquirer is Meta 2012. So for the Meta in 2012, which is the target firm for the M&A? You remember? It's a very famous one. And a gift for the student who answer it correctly. So in 2012, which company or which brand that Meta they acquired or Meta they bought this company in 2012? Do you remember? Which brand that Meta acquired or Meta bought in 2012? Do you remember? It was a very famous case at the other time.
I think it's Facebook, right?
No,
It's
almost close. It's very close. Yes, there's a student answering it correctly from the chat box. It's Instagram. Internet from. Now, again, another gift for you guys. Google, Internet 6, which company they bought or which brand they acquired? Which brand? Okay, so they are student. Yes, correctly. Yeah, it's YouTube. So Google acquired YouTube in 26. This is another successful M&A for economic synergy region. And then the last one, Microsoft in 2012, which firm they acquired during that time? Okay, this question is for the student in their class. Yeah, I mean in the physical class. Which brand that Microsoft acquired in 2012? Okay. And yeah, and the gift for the student answer correctly for the question. Any answer? It's a very important app that or website you must use during your time in your undergraduate period of time. Okay? Because it can help you to connect with others okay? Professionally. Yes, somehow. and it is also a very good sort of job. Okay, I got some job from this kind of platforms. Can you guess? Okay. Yes, student online. Can you have any answer for this? Yammer. No, not Yammer. Not Yammer. Not Yammer. Very close. Very close. Which is the one we just mentioned so far? Okay, it's either look at it. This one. Very famous case. And then the detail for the M&A cases would be in the class stock analysis and business valuation and financial risk management. Okay, in the applied finance class, I will tell you more about the cases. We will go through the cases in detail. Yeah, thank you, Ngang. Yeah, you answer it correctly. And these are the two first questions for the firm. Okay, okay. After getting the cash, after distributing the cash or allocating the cash to different investment, like building a factory, okay, buying a new firm, okay, or even depositing to the bank, okay. After a year, the firm revised, okay, their operational, how to say, the activities, and then they go with the last question. The last question: how do we share the wins, losses, and risks? Okay? The last question is the very important one because it has two sides. First, how we manage the risk, what we call risk management. And after having return or having income, how can we distribute this income? This is the last question that the CFO or person or finance person should answer for on the behalf of firm. Okay? And here we will go through two classes or two subjects for financial risk management and corporate finance. These two classes will help you to answer these two questions. First, for risk management, you will go through the process of risk management. First, you need to identify the risk, and then you analyze the risk. How likely the risk can happen, and then you assess the risk. Okay, if the risk happen, how loss we can face, and we can and then the last one, how can we manage the risk? Okay, there's a lot of approaches for managing the risk, like using the insurance or derivatives. Okay, and derivatives we have the same classes with the same name. We have the classes derivatives. Okay, to tell you about the derivative markets. Okay, and then in the class corporate finance, we study, okay, after a year, if a firm receives some net income, okay, after minusing the cost of goods sold or every expenses, okay, the firm still has some income left, okay, from the revenue. So with this income, how the firm distribute the money? Either they distribute the money to the shareholder, okay, to the one who own the stock, okay, or they keep this money as the retained earning, and this is what we call internal fund. Okay, this is the one that the firm will use and reinvest later. This is what we call retained earning or internal fund. Okay, this idea. Okay, so it's either how we distribute the money and how we manage the risk. Okay, it's either the last question to a finance person. Okay? So we go through the three questions. Okay? So far, the three main questions, very important also. Okay? First one is the how firm raise the money, how firm get the cash for their project. The second question, after having the cash, how firm allocate the cash or how firm distribute the cash to different investment. Okay? Investment can be building a new factory or building a new warehouse, or firm can buy a new firm. Okay, for example, M&A. Okay, we have some famous cases, right? And last is after having the money, investing the money, how firm manage the risk and distribute the income. Okay? So these are three main questions. Okay, a finance person should focus on, and all these three questions will go with you through all the classes of the applied finance. And then there's a small question. As a finance student, have you ever heard the term CFO? Yeah, so a gift from, yeah, for student can answer this correctly. CFO, okay. This is keyword for this, yeah, for applied financial information. CFO. What's that?
So CFO stands for the Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you so much. Yeah. One gift for the student, please. Thank you so much. Yeah. CFO stands for Chief Financial Officer. And this is the step, okay, the career ladder. Okay, you should follow. I mean, you may somehow follow when you're studying finance. Okay, so you may start with the financial analyst. Okay, with the visiting, forecasting, or something. Okay, and then you go to something like senior, and then after being a senior, like from 3 to 5 years, you can step up to finance manager. Finance manager, you are the leader of many senior, and then you go to the director of finance, and then VP or head, and the last one is CFO. Okay? This is the chief financial officer, okay? Who has all responsibility for everything we just studied so far. We see the ultimate effort, okay, the ultimate goal for a person studying finance. Okay? If you following this career leader, okay? Surely, your career your ladder. Surely you have many approaches or many pathways, okay? But it's the original path. Surely there's some student they study the applied finance and they work in the accounting or anything, because if you remember, yeah, Miss Chang, she already mentioned about the finance, accounting, they have some group, they are very familiar, right? And even you can do something like auditing, right? And then another question, you guys, as a CFO, do you know what is the final goal, okay, of a CFO? A gift for the person or student can answer this question correctly. What is the ultimate goal of a CFO? Can you imagine? What is the goal of a CFO? Okay.
So the final goal of CFO is to ensure the long-term financial health and success of the organization.
So you talk about the long-term health of the firm, and then
To ensure the
okay, can you so actually the ultimate goal of CFO just in 3 words. In 3 words. Can you guess 3 words?
financial health and success of the organization.
Okay, somehow it's very close, it's very close, it's very close. Is there any other idea considered? What is the ultimate goal of a CFO?
Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yep.
Well,
Well, I think the simplest answer for this question is make more money.
Mm,
The goal of a CFO is make more money.
okay. Is there any other answer? I mean, it's very close, but not yet the one I want to hear. It's very close. Make more money. Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah. But I think CEO also make more money and other department also make more money, right? Yeah. So what is the difference between the CFO and other C-suite? So the ultimate goal of CFO is there any answer? Okay, let me answer this. But the organizer, can you please distribute the gift for the student to answer? I mean, the two students, yeah. Please take it. The answer is almost correct. So CFO is maximize firm value. Okay? The key here is maximize, okay? Not more. Maximize the firm's value or maximize the shareholders' profit. Because the CFO is the one that the shareholder they don't know about how to manage the firm or how to manage the cash flow. That's why they hire the CFO to help them to manage the firm. Okay, and the when you hire someone to do something on your behalf, what you care is about the profit, right? Isn't it? So therefore, the ultimate goal of a CFO is to maximize the firm's value or maximize the shareholders the profit. Okay. Yeah, make more money, but I mean maximize. Okay, the keyword is maximize. And another question for you guys. Okay, have you ever heard this term anywhere? High risk, high return. And do you think this one is correct? Yeah, it's a question that comes with a gift. So there's students say yes, yeah, from the chat box. Is there any answer from the student? Okay. This one is a question comes with a gift. Do you think this sentence is correct? I think not only in finance, but also in other classes or other product line, you may have something like high risk high return, right? But whether is it correct? So some students from the chat box, they online, they also answer is correct. But I want to hear more. Is there any diversion answer or different opinion? Is it really high risk high return?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yep.
Okay, respectively, I think it's actually correct because they say go big or go home. But in finance industry, I don't think it's actually 100% correct all the time because we cannot guarantee that every high risk investment can guarantee a high return. So I think as a student who pursue finance, I will try my best to, lower the risk but still manage to give a high return.
Okay, somehow correct. Yeah, somehow correct. Yeah. Yeah, could the organizer please distribute a gift for her, please? Because that's good. Actually, it's a incorrect statement with friend. There's some document, okay, that stays the same, but I will give you an example, and you see how it is totally incorrect. So if it's a high risk, high return, it means that it's a truly win, right? Because it means that if you buy the lottery, high risk and high return, okay, you know that you invest in Bitcoin. Right? High risk here is the high volatile, right? Or high volatile, right? So if surely high risk, high return, it means that if people just keep taking risks, they will be billionaire, right? If high risk, high return, so everyone can be billionaire by taking more risk, right? Isn't it? Straightforward, right? Is it? If taking risk surely a win, high risk, high return means that high risk will surely get to high return, right? It means that you can just keep taking risk, to keep taking more risk, okay? And then you will take more return, and then everyone know about that, and then everyone can be billionaire, right? But you know, it won't happen, right? It won't happen in real life. So, what is the accurate term? The more reasonable term should be this one you will study later in two classes. The correct term should be high risk, high expected return. Okay. If you take more risk, you are expected to have more return, to receive more return. This is the idea. Okay? High risk not surely lead to higher return, but high risk you can expect higher return. You got the idea? And this idea you will study in more detail from the class economic and financial modeling and investment management from the applied finance class. So after knowing something like high risk, okay, high risk, high expected return, I have the last question for you, okay, today. What can be considered as least risk, highest expected return? It's a question coming with a gift, right? Because when you invest, you want to know, okay, so which kind of investment can bring the best, the best, and can I mean, we can take the least resources or can take the least cash, but we can earn the high return. So can you think of some approaches or some investment that can take the least risk and then earn the highest return, highest expected return? Can you guess which one? I think this is the question. Not only you, but also other also want to know, right? Other people also want to know, I think. So at least this one you can take over, yeah, from this fixed class. Okay, which one can be considered as the least risk and higher expected return? Which one? This is the last question of the fixed class. The one for you to take away. Is it Bitcoin or bond or real estate? Yeah, real estate is very hot. Yeah, it's very hot and boom now, right? Booming now. Or other, is there any answer for this one? Which can be considered?
Okay, to me, it's neither of the one that you mentioned, but the one that will give me the least risk but highest expected return to me is education.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, one gift for her actually. Almost. I mean, almost. Yeah, one hit. So one gift for the student, please. Yeah, very good answer. This is over my expectation, to be frank. When I prepare this question, because normally we say that when we invest into the education, it normally bring back around 10 times return. And actually, your answer is correct, but we have a more generalized answer. It is not only about education, but also everything about you, your health, your education, your connection. It's the best investment. Least risk, highest effective return. Or we call the best investment is you. Okay? Everything about you. Education, health, relationship, connection. This is the best investment. This is your takeaway. And to know more about interesting class from the Applied Finance, welcome to the Applied Finance from the Western Sydney University. Okay, and this is the end of my presentation today. Thank you so much.